Hello, hello, hello.
Yo, 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 this is YGOMemes podcast.
Episode 2.
Yep, we got it figured out with the video and audio combination this time, not just the audio.
Yeah, we were totally unaware that the duration of the recording on cameras is 30 minutes maximum.
But we do hope that y'all listened to the first episode. I'm going to put it with pictures in it, so there's at least some visual aids. But if you did listen to the words we had to say, much appreciated.
And as going forward, we are here doing the content in my house, so things are going to just kind of evolve as they go. We're looking to kind of just do this more and more frequently, and I hope you guys are here to grow with us.
Heck yeah. So YuGioMemes, as always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter even, and whatnot. We're pretty popular on the internet, on some platforms. So if you are familiar with us, thank you. If this is your first time watching this channel, check us out on Facebook, Instagram. You can check out the memes we post. You can check out the conversations we have on those posts about like whether or not cards should be banned, whether or not artists are doing the work that we're doing in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, etc. Just a bunch of stuff we talk about. I don't know. Do you want to go over the what's the first thing we went over last time?
Well, first and foremost, I definitely want to say thank you to everyone that was part of our giveaway program that we did recently. We did have, what was it, four things that we gave away? What were they?
Yeah. So we gave away 4 items via Instagram because we hit 5,000 followers on Instagram.
Woo!
That was the point.
Thank you, guys.
That was really cool. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Your 5K giveaway.
This feels pretty good.
Gave away a whole box. Gave away a structure deck for the Dark Worlds. Gave away a YuGioMemes T-shirt, and then what was the last one? Oh, it was a deck box from Gem Accessories, Gem Tech. Those guys are awesome. They even shouted out our post, so they shared it on their Instagram as well.
Hey.
Yeah. The guy who owns Gem Tech, I forget his name. I believe it's Omar some, but that guy's cool. He's actually from Southgate, California, same place where I'm from, and he's a small business owner who's been able to grow his empire of deck boxes and supplies for dueling. But yeah, he helps out pages like Yu-Gi-Oh memes a lot, so I think that's really cool that he was able to share our giveaway that we were doing, which involved his deck box. So shout out to the winners, and if you're watching the Twitch stream that day, I also gave away extra stuff to the Twitch viewers. There was people who were in the Twitch stream who we entered a quick raffle, and I gave away basically my OTS packs and my packs from the Cyberstorm Axes that I've won from tournaments. So it was pretty cool. I do have to send some stuff to Germany and the UK, which I've never done before, and it isn't going to cost me money out of my own pocket, but that's just what we do here at YGOMemes.
And going forward, we want to keep doing these giveaways. So shout us out to your friends, people that are getting into Master Duel. Links to the Twitch stream will be available. Is there a schedule that we're doing at the moment? I know we always stream anywhere between like 5 to 7 p.m., right?
So usually the stream starts around 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast that we're here. And we should be streaming 4 days out of the week, usually Saturday through Tuesday. Yeah, so look out for that on Twitch. I'm going to start seeing some videos on the channel as well from some Twitch clips of Kris, is my cousin, who is also the other Yu-Gi-Oh memes team member, who is one of the better players, one of the people who plays more, I think, who has more time to play. So he does have the opportunity to stream for us on Twitch as he contributes to the page as well. But yeah,
there is definitely some time there to watch Kris duel. As of right now, there is a stream going on, so yeah, feel free to take a look and give us a follow there. And anything on the page, any recent memes that have we've made since the last time. So I know this is the one we talked about in the last episode.
So I didn't make this one, but I shared it from a good homie at the Chaos Giant Memes page. I do like this one because I shared it with a caption that said, but anyways, you can clearly see it's a girl who is a pretty girl, and it says, "I'm a girl that plays Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, we exist, LOL." And then the pro gamer on the right side says, "Then please fucking date me."
Yeah.
Oh, and my caption is, "Bruh, just ask her to duel first." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Can we talk about girls in the Yu-Gi-Oh space? Not like in a gendered kind of way, but just in the like horse in the room kind of way, where there obviously isn't that many like women who play Yu-Gi-Oh, and when there is, there tends to be like this sort of general like reaction from men in the space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the reaction. There is no initial reaction I have, but the reaction I've heard of like some people I know tell me is that like, oh man, I don't know, like I play against a girl and I don't know if I should like take it easy on her or if I should, play her to like my, extent. Like that's the first initial thing I get from my friends, nothing like shameful or against them playing, but they have the willingness to want to like have them have a different experience than what they would give other people. And so it's like, is that prejudice on its own, or is that some sort of way of like the person like coping with like, or potentially stigmatizing that like you could hurt their feelings or you can make them sad, right, by beating them.
I mean, just like in any type of competition, right? There's this whole thing of like, if you take them serious as an opponent, then you will play at your best. You will respect that. It's competition. I don't see why anybody should go easy on you. Like, if I'm going to play against a homie or somebody, even a kid younger than me, like, I have no reason to take it easy on me. Shoot, there's definitely younger players than me, kids like Ryan. He's not a kid, but he's definitely not like an adult either yet. But if I play him at an event, I'm gonna be scared. Like, I would never go easy on somebody young, like something like that.
Right.
There's definitely women in Yu-Gi-Oh, like Jessica Robinson, or like let's say even Zara Khan, who plays locally. If I played against those people, I know they practice. Like, I know Zara Khan plays Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, so like she probably knows more about the meta than I do sometimes. So if I would play her, I'd be like, okay, this person is a Twitch streamer, this person's a content creator. They know the card pool, so I should look out. But yes, I don't think that really is a fair assessment and in any type of competition. Another assessment I have heard is just people kind of being afraid to befriend a woman in the Yu-Gi-Oh space, and I understand too, because you probably feel awkward going up to a girl, even though you just want to like be friends with people. But if you do run into women in this space, like they're not there to date you. They're not there to give you they want to play Yu-Gi-Oh just like the way we want to play Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's what I'm saying. Ask them to duel first, become people's friends first. You know what I mean? If you do find women in your Yu-Gi-Oh space, I do think that this is a very inclusive community. So it's always cool to see people.
Is there the locals that you've gone to? How many or if any women are at the shops?
Like very minimum, and some of them aren't even there for Yu-Gi-Oh. Some of them are there for like Pokemon or something.
Sure. Yeah, specifically tailored to like maybe now think back to your last regional experience.
I want to say there's maybe like 3 or 4 women total. Oh no, actually no, that's a lie. There has been a lot more women in the Yu-Gi-Oh space in the last couple of years that I've noticed, and when I'm coming back into the game than there was ever before. So when I do go to regionals, yeah, there's actually, I want to say like maybe 10 to 20 women amongst that whole, the whole area, which isn't like a lot, obviously, compared to men, but it's a lot more than it was 10 years ago when there was 1, 2 maybe, and they were there because their boyfriends dragged them along. It wasn't necessarily like people who were playing the game, but nowadays there's like straight up couples who play the game together. There's straight up people who are very much into the grind.
You were sharing that one post of an it was a girl. I think she's an aunt, right? She was emphasizing that she's teaching her nieces how to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes, yep.
And she was like very much sharing her story. I think it was reshared on other Facebook groups, and I know I've seen it too.
Yeah, that's a really cute story. I think, especially it's a kid and they're learning through Speed Duel.
Yeah.
But yeah, women in Yu-Gi-Oh. Speaking of women in tabletop sporting, I want to bring this up because Twitter is Twitter. So trans women have been banned from top level chess events by the World Top Chess Federation or whatever, over there. The only reason I bring it up is because I reshared it and I just put Yu-Gi-Oh greater than chess, obviously, because there's never been an issue of anything like that in the Yu-Gi-Oh space. If anything, I actually love the way Yu-Gi-Oh has kind of like just doesn't acknowledge anything like that. Just like, hey, it's about the game. But go back to the post. I want to talk about Tatsum. Cool homie Tatsum just responded. Not that I agree or condone what they're doing, but Yu-Gi-Oh has no female events. We have no clue how they would handle that. So, and I thought he was right, but then apparently people corrected him saying there is OCG female only events, and these are like officially commissioned by like the Yu-Gi-Oh company, women only events in the OCG, not in the TCG, I guess though. So, what do you think, Zach? Are we sexist for not having these in the TCG, or are we extremely progressive for not needing these in the TCG? What do you think?
Well, it says here that they're part of the Princess's Cup, and I don't want to say right here that like we're sexist, but they're titling it here in Japan the Princess Cup, right? Mm-hmm. So generally speaking, like cultural differences, I think, are very important to like emphasize here. This isn't the OCG. This isn't Japan land, as they would call it. So I think here, especially with American culture and the separation with trans being a different conversation too, the separation between like men and women playing Yu-Gi-Oh would be a challenge, I would say, to advertise as like female only tournaments and female only like point system per se, or female only championship for a reason. I think it would be nice to approach something like that maybe at like a national event, but it does take away from those that want to participate in the main event too. And again, like you have to be very careful on what you choose to do in that category. Again, I think it's just because there's cultural differences here. It's very hard, and I wouldn't say in America it's sexist, but we can be better. We can do better.
No, of course. If anything, we wouldn't call it the Princess Cup, obviously. Yeah, they wouldn't call it the Princess Cup. I was joking around. I was fully joking. Obviously, it's not sexist at all to have women only spaces in things like this, especially in male dominant communities.
Especially when they're playing Magician Girl and Madolce decks.
Okay. Oh, well, what if that's the shtick? You have to play.
The
well, there's more deck lists. Yeah. All right. There's Invoked. There's an Invoked right there. That's a cool deck. And then this is probably back during that format too.
Of course. By any means.
But I do want to talk about and mention that women only spaces are very important. In like a male dominated areas and all types of video gaming. Let's be real, because you look at Twitch streamers and there's a lot of women Twitch streamers who can't get into a rated lobby without like just get up straighting attack, which sucks because as a gamer and as a company who provides games, you just want your people to have fun when playing the game. You know what I mean? And I know that there has been a challenge for sure with women in Yu-Gi-Oh! In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Space. We've seen it before. And we're not going to get into it because it's not our space, because I'm not a woman. You're not a woman. So it's not our space to talk about. But there's challenges and there's issues, and we've seen them talked about.
I'm going to interject. I definitely can say, though, Zara Khan that we mentioned, some experiences she shares publicly on her own social media pages. And, listening to her and noticing what she has to say, it brought a lot of attention. And again, it only validated her point even more.
Yeah, but have you seen what Zara Khan, Ava, I forget Ava's last name. There's a couple women that are doing this girl power Yu-Gi-Oh tournament thing. It's on Master Duel. It's a Master Duel. Heard about it too. That's what I'm talking about. That it's really cool to have those spaces because, like, realistically, like not only is like Yu-Gi-Oh a male driven space, but like, okay, so if the best Yu-Gi-Oh, if we're mostly dudes playing this game, and the best Yu-Gi-Oh players at the top of this are all dudes, and we already have this conversation about how like there's this like dudes are afraid to talk to women in Yu-Gi-Oh. Obviously, there's gonna be like this time frame in which it takes a while for girls to come into the space, get into the meta, get into the tournament play. You know what I mean? So I really do like that the women in the Master Duel Yu-Gi-Oh space have created a tournament for them alone to like work with their community and pick each other up in a way that doesn't need to be like exclusive towards anybody. It's more just like, hey, this is something extra you can do as a casual tournament. All the prizing that they give away is brought by the actual content creators who are hosting it. Like War Carlos, I think she donated like a Starlight Rare or something for like the tournament prizing, which is really cool. And that's what they do. It's run by women for women. So
can I give you something I've actually heard of a local TS stores doing is they have like anyone that enters like the tournaments, like local tournaments, like women and children can be free.
That's beast. Yeah. That's like the Titanic. Women and children first and free.
Women and children first. True.
True. What the? That's kind of cool. Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
And so let me ask you this. How would you feel if like one day your girlfriend was like telling you, "Oh, I want to actually like learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to get involved into Yu-Gi-Oh." Like what would you do?
I would tell her, "Nope, you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh. That is my thing. Sorry."
Sorry, men only.
No.
I'm just kidding.
So I have really realistic hypothetical what I do is I would obviously teach her how to play. I would probably start for sure with like a speed duel format because it's a lot easier and like to learn that compared to like whatever it is going on. Not that I'm underestimating her, but just because Yu-Gi-Oh is so overwhelming, like we talked about it for new players last time, so it's so daunting. But I would for sure take her to like a locals, maybe like a sealed tournament, like a starter deck tournament. Just to kind of get her like acquainted with the experience of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, because I know going to locals for X amount of hours is not for everybody. So maybe she might like the game, but then she doesn't like going to locals, so she don't want to go no more, and that's cool. And you just short master duel at that point or something, you know. And but to be honest, my girlfriend will never get into Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been trying to get her to play for years, and it just won't happen.
Well, I mean, instead of like Yu-Gi-Oh is just a challenging game to get introduced to, of course, and like if you were maybe instead of Yu-Gi-Oh like Lorcana just came out, right?
Yes.
That game's got to be much easier for it being a new TCG, and the release has caused like a big storm on a lot of like spaces. Here at Yu-Gi-Oh memes, as AKA YGOMemes, AKA Your Games Online, we're going to include multiple conversations, and I definitely want to talk about Lorcana right now. So,
Yes. Probably the most
in that aspect, what do you know about the game?
probably the most anticipated TCG I've ever seen or heard of, mainly because it's IP, it's intellectual property, whatever. There's clearly a big flux of newcomers who have never played a TCG before coming into this space, which is great because that's good for everybody like us or like you in particular, who the way you make a living is through buying and selling cards, which is American dream, yada yada. But
Every nerd's dream.
yeah, every nerd's dream. And I do think that like stuff like Lorcana is really helpful to sustain like this market. I think a lot of people for the longest time have viewed collectibles and card games as like something that isn't sustainable. But man, if the pandemic has proven anything, it's for sure it proves which industries we as people currently prioritize. And the entertainment industry is for sure one of the number one things we do, and gaming tabletop collectibles fall right in there. And Lorcana has just proven to kind of showcase not only that, but the ability to get new consumers and new people interested in a product that is usually viewed as like an archaic concept. Playing a board game using your hands, we don't really do that. We're in this VR realm. But now all of a sudden you have grown ass adults, families going to Disneyland, going to their local card shops, going to every Target they can find to just get a little taste of these booster packs.
I mean, yeah, definitely have gotten involved myself. I went and bought some Lorcana, and just hearing from some of the employees that work at the game store we were at, the the first thing I heard was I had to tell so many people that we're not doing pre-orders. I had to let them know right off the bat we're not pre-ordering any of this stuff. It's first come first serve. Our doors open at 12, and that's when we can start selling you Lorcana. And a lot of people weren't happy about that. A lot of people were upset. It was what's the word, entitlement issues, I guess. I think the intention was that like the game was supposed to be soft released, but it wasn't advertised as such. So not all the stores had as many of their product that they had ordered. For example, let's say they ordered just 100 boxes, they would be lucky if they got 10. Um, it would be near impossible to pre-order for anybody because it would be gone immediately. And the problem a lot of game stores too had it is like pricing their product to the point where like you want to make people happy, you want to sell it at a good price, but you don't want people to like you don't want to sell it to the quote unquote opportunists, or I would say I'm gonna refrain from using the word scalp.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that I hate that word.
Yeah, I'm just going to refrain from using it further on out. The opportunists, the people that are looking to buy low, sell high. There's a challenge for those game stores to figure out the price that makes the customer and consumer base happy, yet deters the opportunists from going in and just taking advantage of the situation. And I don't know if this could have been done better, because this is like a huge scale of an operation, and I couldn't even like begin to like judge like where they came from. But the reactions online, some people are happy, some people aren't. Some people got lucky, some people didn't. It seems to be what we're used to. And like,
Hmm.
they're new into this experience, they're new into a TCG, and I can only empathize with them because like they're going to have to learn the hard way here, and it's going to be a very humbling experience, and maybe, just maybe, this will like become, this will change the way anybody approaches a TCG, because this is Disney we're talking about. This is not just Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Magic. This is
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah. Disney almost kind of just didn't want to claim their responsibility that they're making a card game, is what it seems. I know that it's Ravensburger, but they're using the Disney name, and they got people lined up at their Disneyland theme parks, looking for this stuff. I think there's a bunch of things that I'm not gonna say went wrong, but kind of more, I guess, could have gone differently, like the communication. So
Yes.
Lorcana marketed and advertised August 18th as the first day the game was going to be legal out at local game stores, et cetera, et cetera. When the week came about, all of my local game stores were making posts, basically kind of doing damage control for Ravensburger, Lorcana, for not explaining to its community that this release is supposed to be, it's intended to be viewed as a soft release. They get very little product, and it seems like they were heavily relying on September 1st so that people can go buy their product at like Target, yada yada, at the possible MSRP. But so the local game stores were just kind of screwed out by some angry community people who are very new, who are expecting so much from a company like Disney. Because let's face it, like Disney, like they do so much already. So I imagine the people who constantly buy Disney stuff have a high expectation already of what's to come when they're spending all their money on Disneyland and Disney pins and all this other nonsense.
We'll learn in like a year or two from now, like how much money this will make in their shareholders meeting, right? This is definitely something that's like important to like the Disneyland stock, and like with even like there's the plagiarism lawsuit that's kind of involved with the creator of the game and the rights where it's sold to, still kind of being undecided. It's it needs, a judge is going to make a decision on whether it can go to court or not, and we still don't know what's going to happen there. So a lot of things to think about. It is a new TCG. If there's anyone that has gotten into the Lorcana space, at least has gotten to seen just a taste or knows a lot more than what we're talking about, please give some feedback. There
Yeah.
is some channels to reach us back out to. The Instagram, of course. The Facebook's a huge one. Do you have an email again to plug in?
Well, just leave some comments.
Yeah, leave
First
some
and foremost,
comments.
leave some comments on what you think about Lorcana. If you're playing the game, if you plan on playing the game, and what was your experience in it so far? Personally, I'm gonna play the game for a little bit. I got some boxes, I got some cards out of it. Like I mentioned, like you said, we already knew what to expect. We kind of went into it kind of knowing. I don't really feel bad necessarily about people complaining, just because at the end of the day, it's a business, and the business isn't there to make you happy. It's there to sustain an economy, basically, and it's there to make money.
They're
And
for-profit businesses,
yeah,
and of course.
yeah, and it's fun for everybody involved. If you can't get into it now because it's a little steep, then that's cool. Be patient, and your time will come. The game will be available. All the cards will be available eventually. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's gonna be an issue forever. But I think a lot of the consumers right now who just they're being very impatient with what's going on, and it sucks because there's a lot of spaces in Lorcana that you normally see in other TCGs, like buy and sell groups, or like Twitter accounts where they're normally very like flourishing and active, and you see people making their money, and you see people getting cards they need, and you see people getting answers. But the Lorcana space is so toxic right now. Like if you make any posts about selling any boxes, you're automatically like labeled this like pot of greed faced capitalist
It's
guru.
gotten to the point now where the rules of shaming and belittling and basically like leaving any sort of like negative comments on posts of people selling cards gets you banned. Like
Yeah.
it has gotten to the point where like there it is just not tolerated. They suspend the accounts. They don't allow though they don't allow people to even be called like any shameful remarks for them buying things at like MSRP to like sell higher. There's the people too that like when they do buy it at MSRP, they're very like proud, patriotic of like I'm so happy my local game store does this, and it's like a way to flaunting, maybe a way of like showing off. But everyone just wants this. Everyone just wants a piece of the pie. Everyone wants to eat. So I don't know. I'm okay with like you said, you don't feel bad for them. I'm okay with it happening. I empathize with them only because they're just unaware. But I hope soon they start to realize that there is a reflection of secondary market. They can't necessarily deny that like prices that they see of cards shouldn't be what they are because you don't feel like they should. Like that's ridiculous. There's reality in my opinion.
Yeah, like how do you expect people to put food on their table when this is their job to get cards and singles and list them so that you can buy them and put them in your deck and play at locals next week? Like, there has to be something for what you're doing. Like you don't just get stuff for free. Like, you know what I mean? Like people got to make money for you to play this game. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. Like you said, you're right. They're new. I should empathize with them not knowing things, but for the most part, like it's about the experience. I'm sure, like once the game is flourishing and they play the game and they're addicted to it, like I am, they're definitely going to appreciate it no matter what. And then, like they'll learn a lot about it too. So it's a lot of like learning curves and newcomer stuff. So for the most part, I'm just hoping that the community does grow and that we start seeing some like organized play events soon. We start seeing some like prize cards or something. I don't know, maybe the regional is gonna happen in this year. Who knows?
I mean, as far as Lorcana events going on, I don't think there's going to be any happening for a year from what they have announced. They want the card pool to kind of mass up and get a little bit bigger before they have like more serious tournament, serious events. They're starting like leagues at local game stores now, which I think is cool. But yeah, the only other thing about Lorcana that I do want to say is that it is an opportunity to get into something new and fun, and to think about it right now as like a chance to start like start something fresh. If you have frustrations in other TCGs, this might be a chance. So think about it and come back to us then. I think we should start.
So speaking of prizing and tournament play and events, what's going on this weekend, Zach?
There is a regional in Santa Clara, bro. And I'm excited. Hopefully you can go because as of today, I know I'm going.
Hopefully,
Kevin's gonna find out by tomorrow if he can confirm or not. And it is this weekend on the 26th. Santa Clara is just the neighboring little, like I would say, neighborhood of San Jose. It's pretty 6.5 hours, a little less than 6 hours, or 6.5 hours away. And I'm going with a few friends that I've known for a while. So first regional that I played in this season. I'm excited, bro. I really hope you can go.
Nice. Yeah, I hope I can go too. Just got work responsibilities I got to make sure I can cover before I go. I'm in like a managerial position, so I have to really cover my ass before going to play Yu-Gi-Oh on a Saturday. But it does sound fun. Yu-Gi-Oh trips are great. Yu-Gi-Oh regionals for trips are great. I mean, obviously the pricing isn't the best. It's kind of why I think like, do I want to go spend 4 hours driving to go play 9 rounds of Swiss to come home in a 4-hour drive back, for maybe a top 8 or an invite?
I love the content that we've created when we've gone out there.
It's an experience too.
I love the the opportunities that I get to have. Seeing old familiar faces has always been my biggest thing. I'm going to see too many familiar faces at this point where I don't know if there's going to be any new people that I get to know out there. The last time I was up in NorCal for a regional.
Was it the San Jose one we went to?
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a fun day. Trauma almost got top 8, but lost the last round. But that was a fun regional. That was a really good regional. I had a lot of fun. People were really cool. The food that we had after was amazing.
Oh, dude, iguanas?
Yeah, but...
Oh, no, Lavix. Went to Lavix.
Oh, I went to Lavix. Yeah, Iguanas is the burrito place.
The Burritozilla place.
Lavix was what? Like orange sauce, habanero nachos or something? Oh,
that's
so
just
good.
The place one of the people from the area told me,
One of the locals.
Yeah, he straight up told me you got to go to Lavix. That's the spot after the regional every time. I'm like, Iguanas is good though too. He's like, yeah, but you got to try Lavix, especially if you've been to Iguanas, you'll love Lavix. So I'm like, all right. The sauce was fire.
Yeah, no, I still remember that sauce.
Yeah,
I still remember that sauce.
dude, the guy that put us on, he praises it so much. He has people bring him down a bottle. He brings him down. He's like,
Oh,
hey,
he's from SoCal?
he's from NorCal. Yeah. Noah, but he lives in SoCal now.
Oh, okay.
Mike.
So Mike. Duh. Yeah, you should have said Mike. Oh, I forget that Mike is from the Bay. I mean, he has the Golden State Warriors. I forget that.
Dude,
I forget he's from
You're
NorCal.
good. Yeah, Mike. He put us on that day. And
Hey, shout out Mike, man.
Hey, man. I appreciate Mike. He's moving on to bigger and better things, and I love to see what people do after they move on from the game. You know, it's crazy that there's only like so much experience that experiences that I have with people in Yu-Gi-Oh that like I really do wish I can like be more than just like Yu-Gi-Oh friend per se, right? Like I really do wish that I can go out and like hang out and do other activities, but you know, like everyone's too busy now. Everyone's an adult, and like I only get to see the people in Yu-Gi-Oh often because it is the space that I surround myself in more or less. Like, you know, it is a space that I'm in constantly with my business.
What's your job? Yeah.
My business, carrying my name and likeness is also a huge incentive. And I love the game. People love me. I love the people. So go from there.
So that's why you want to go to regionals.
I want to play, of course. I want to win. I want to win, but like I love the game and I love what it's done for me.
Okay. What do you think of the meta right now? As somebody who, let's say, they go into their first regional, mainly because it's like the season starting up again. World's just finished, so this is like the first wave of regionals that we've had this last weekend that passed and this weekend. I know you invited me to go to Arizona last weekend, but didn't work out. We saw the top list from there. Yuma is what it was, and now there's this weekend, and then next weekend you already told me there's a Vegas regional. So it's time to get people's invites. It's time to go out there and get your invite for nationals. You can now get the invite for the next nationals 2024. What do you think of the meta?
What do I think of the meta? We're in a weird spot in the meta, of course, with Kashtira existing and Pearly existing. It creates a weird conundrum where like certain card choices become better than others, and it's hard to decide between which ones are which. A deck that's been doing really well and a deck that I love is the Branded Chimera deck. I like the Branded Chimera deck so much because of just, you know, branded cards being involved, but it's a small branded engine now, and the Chimera cards kind of carry the weight. And
I like that deck snipes a card from your hand, potentially two.
Yeah, so I do like the ability to play through Droll and Lockbird, but you know it's a deck now that doesn't lose to Ash. It's funny enough that Ash Blossom isn't your problem; it's Droll. But a deck also has been taking the storm as of recently is the Unchained deck. I have noticed just in my local area there is a duelist named Ryan Ortiz. He's been killing it.
Shout out Ryan, who's also he's an admin also for the Facebook page.
Shout out Ryan. You know, he is the man. He's there for you anytime.
He's a judge too. Judge Ryan. Have you ever seen him at a regional?
No. I don't call him Judge Ryan. That's just Ryan Ortiz. Judge Ryan's someone else.
You're right.
You're from SoCal. If you know, you know.
Oh yeah. That's all right.
If you know, you know. But you know, been killing it with the Unchained deck. I watched him even play recently at the shop I was helping out, and I definitely will say his technical play was pretty good with the deck. I'm unaware of like what the deck's like opportunities and what it can and can't do, right? So I will not like critique what his plays are, but he won, and that was enough to say that the deck alone is pretty powerful. The pilot is can play through the meta and can play his deck very well.
Yeah, Ryan's a good player overall, so I trust like the technical play to the extent of which that when he picks up a deck. And the results speak for themselves. He said he got first at that tournament at Pile, and he got first also at a Case tournament that he posted about. And I just know I can tell when he's really into the game and really into the deck because he posts about it a lot. Like you're saying, he's not the first person I've seen kind of pick up the deck and do really well. I don't know if people are doing well with it because it has to do with maybe the card. Some of the cards are newer that just came out and people don't know what they do. They don't know how to play around it. I know you see not too familiar with like the technical aspect of the deck. I'm not going to sit here and think I'm a pro either, but I have seen the deck kind of play a little bit. I watched one of Pac's videos not that long ago where he takes it to locals and he loses, and he kind of explains like his issues with it. And in general, like he'll go, and then watching him go through his plays kind of also help me understand what the deck does. So what's cool about the deck is that like you benefit from popping your own cards, basically. So when you're playing against other decks that are going to react with like Nor to spin back your monster, or Rise Heart to banish your card face down, or Fenrir, you can chain your unchained cards to pop your card instead within the chain link. So not only do you bait out the targeting removal from your opponent, but in that process, you're getting your engine started, and that is what gets your engine started. It's kind of almost like in the games I've seen, you do rely a little bit on your opponent to interact with you in order for you to play the turn, because then that's how you outplay them, is that they think they're doing the right play and then you kind of reverse it on them. So it's an interesting deck. It's a great it has a really strong engine. I guess I don't know much about it other than the aspect of like you're utilizing a lot of quick effects to make sure that you're playing around their stuff by moving your cards to the graveyard.
It's really cool that the deck does it. I don't think it loses to Book of Moon as much as like some other meta decks can definitely like pass their turn if their monster gets Book of Moon. The cool thing that I saw Ryan do was just to make the high wave King Caesar play, where he uses the two level 6s to make the one negate.
Mm-hmm.
But you go into Machinix if you want to after that. That's usually like what you do if you're post turn 1 / going second. Machinix is the one that can basically attach any monster's effect that activates on the field to it by either destroying a dark contract or detaching 2 from it.
Oh, okay, yes. The DDD boss monster.
Yeah. So if you are playing against if you are playing into certain matchups, you can make a 4 material Zeus with it.
Okay, that's right. And like stuff like that, like you like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to I guess learn through experience, or kind of just watch other people play so you can see plays like that, or even just watch deck profiles and pay attention so you can notice plays like that. Because if you're not actively keeping up with like meta trends, like people playing Unchained, you're gonna get Zeused on, and they're gonna have 4 materials, and maybe you're playing around the one Zeus, but you're not playing around a Zeus with 4 materials. So that's good to know. Good to know. And yeah, you're right. That is something that the Unchained deck ends on usually, is like the DDD combo, which is cool. It's a very, very powerful deck. I know a lot of like top players like Elise Davis were posting about their regional success with it too.
There looks like there was about like 4 tops within the past week or 2 weeks worth of regionals. So
at least on YouTube, right?
For what it's worth, what we know, at least what you and I both know, there is a influx of Unchained, and it might be something to consider going into your next tournament if there is any events that you're planning on playing. If you are extensively playing your locals and trying to try something new out, Unchained might be something to not only have fun with. You can even win your locals at the same time too, and that's a plus, right? Having fun and winning your local.
I definitely think that locals is the way to go. No offense to like you said, regionals are fun. I like the experience, I like the content, but I think if you're looking for a little bit more bang for your buck, yeah, definitely go play locals and win locals, and try a bunch of locals out before going to your regionals, because I think locals is a great way to test the meta waters out too. A lot of people do take the newer decks to locals that they see on YouTube, so
it's definitely a deck that won't get hit on any upcoming Forbidden and Limited list. That's for sure.
The Unchained, yeah. No, you're right.
And Master Duels of Forbidden and Limited list is actually recently available. It is going to be implemented on August 31st. As of recording this episode, it is not in effect. But the ban list now, what are the changes? We got Nadir Servant from 2 to 3, Ancient Fairy from 1 to 3, Gear Sue from 2 to 3.
Let's talk about those first. Well, let's talk about the ones that are the changes that are coming back. Already, at least the 3 so far first.
Yeah, these are the only ones that are from any amount that they were, limited or semi-limited at to, 3 full copies. Nadir Servant's definitely Master Duel definitely has different approaches, but Nadir Servant's definitely probably fair to bring back, and I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. Ancient Fairy Dragon, does it have its errata where it's hard once per turn?
Yeah, it has the errata.
So I don't think that's going to make a difference. I'm shocked to find out Gear Sue was actually on the list at some point.
Still, right?
I mean, yeah, So I'm gonna say that these are all changes that really don't have an impact. What about you?
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't see why you need more than one Ancient Fairy Dragon unless you're comboing after turn 1, turn 0 type stuff. So yeah, maybe you could play 2 in your synchro deck, which will probably work better for a grind game if necessary. But I don't think there's like crazy combos. Same, the Deer Servant at 2 and 3 doesn't make any difference. I don't think. If anything, it probably gives more utility to branded decks on Master Duel because they're still playing a different way. And then I don't know. I didn't play Ogre's format. That deck doesn't exist anymore to me. So I just know the rank 8 is like scary. So just play around that.
I mean, Dingirsu is just slappable with any exceed.
Yeah.
You know, so and it doesn't non-targeting removal that doesn't destroy. So Unchained, sorry.
Okay, but even then, but Miss Master Duel, Master Duel is a little different than CCG. I don't even think the Unchained is good on Master Duel at all. But what else we got? We got Blaster, the Dragon Ruler.
Blaster went from 1 to 2. So I know in the TCG it's still at 1. It's probably foreshadowing some event. Is Tempest at all in 2 in the Master Duel?
I forget. I think it might be at 2.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I'm not a Master Duel player. I don't know, and I'm gonna definitely find out after this is done recording. I don't think it's gonna make any changes. They're testing the waters to see if the Dragon Rulers can or cannot make an impact again. What are your thoughts on if Tidal and Redox happen to make an appearance and come back off the list? What do you think about those cards?
Quite frankly, I think that the Dragon Ruler cards are broken. I think it come back to 1 maybe. I do think Redox would be very generic. You'd be able to splash Redox into any deck that has Fenrir. Which would be a little too, because it's a Monster Reborn. That's a little too good. I think.
Monster Reborn for your graveyard.
Yeah, for your graveyard. You're right. It's probably one of those like bricky kind of cards, but like if Redox was at 1, I would 100% play it in Kashtira because it's a level 7. Banished to Earth.
It's cool, right? It's cool if Redox did come back. I think Tier Elements being able to splash it, and don't call me crazy here, guys, because if you play the Shadal engine, you can search Nest Shadal. Genius.
Yeah. Then that's the thing too. So now we're like talking out loud about it. Like maybe putting them at 1 might be like cool, but anything more than 1 for the dragon. If they put every Dragon Roller at 2, it'd be a problem. 100% be a problem.
No, yeah, you get free cards, and
yeah.
I'm a little worried about what you can get away with the Bestial cards being an engine. None of the Dragon Rulers will work with Lubellion, fortunately, but there are some very powerful rank 7 still to consider, and they're only 3 level. You know, you can make pretty powerful synchros like Baron, Bestial Dispater.
Yeah.
And these cards banish other cards, so they're more tutorable to summon cards back from the banish zone.
And then like they're so good at recurring. Like you special one from hand, a turn later special one from the graveyard. Like I said, you splash them in Kashtira. Ogre's of water, Fenrir's of earth, Unicorn's of wind, fucking Little Rise Hearts of fire. There's just so much. There's so much to be able to do.
And there's going to be like some Fire King cards coming back. There's new structure decks to consider. So I don't see Blaster wanting to come to 2 in the TCG. If it does, I'm interested to see where Tempest goes. Tempest ends up staying to 1, then I think they thought about this, but if they're just doing Tempest and Blaster both at 2, I'm a little worried. Extravagance from 3 to 2. I don't know if there's any other pots on the list. If Desires is hit at 2, or if
Desires is at 3.
Prosperity's at 1, right?
Prosperity is at 1. Duality's at 2.
Interesting. So they're hitting like just sheer draw power, and then Prosperity is just probably one of the best pots that we've seen in a long time.
So this is actually a small Kashtira hit. Because all the decks on Master Duel ranked that are Kashtira based, mine also that. So there's 2 ways to play Kashtira on Master Duel right now. You're either playing the Tomahawk version, where you make 2 level 7s, you season the Tomahawk, and you make 5 tokens. And then from there, you either take a link route, or you take the route where you link into the Mecha Phantom Beast link, and you make O-Lion, then you synchro route, right? So if you're not playing that version, you're not playing this pot. But if you're playing the Zone Lock version, which is the version that I think is way superior, because you don't lose to hand traps, whole other conversation though. Anyways, so if you're making the Zone Locks, you're playing 3 Pot of Extravagance because you don't care about your extra deck. You're just putting 3 Shangri Era, 3 Mind Hacker, 2 Big Eye, 2 Drag, and then stuff you don't use. So
you're just playing Big Monster Beatdown.
You're playing 3 Big Monster Beatdown. You could play
+1.
Yeah, you're playing a bunch of +1. You're playing 3 of this card. You're playing obviously the unicorns and all hand traps. So this
you probably
card,
still play the Pot of Prosperity, of course.
you play one prosperity. Yeah. So again, like, so the combination, so 3 of these and one prosperity made the deck a little obnoxious. I don't think Cashier is like amazing on Master Duel right now because Tier Lament is still running around like very, very strong. But I do think that having Extravagance, putting it to 2 was a little like a small
Hopefully
little hit.
they do something to Cashier then.
It does
Tier
suck.
Elements.
Yeah,
but
it does suck because I play Flu, and this was like the only way to keep Flu consistent, and now it sucks.
Yep, less consistent deck for a less worthy deck. All right, now Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. I am a big Pendulum fan, and it was at 1. Why?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of pendulums personally.
I know that there's cards that let Pendulum do what, like did the FK get banned finally?
I don't know what
it. The fusion that would copy the effect of the Lyralisk. I remember building it like a long time ago, but
I think that on Master Duel, that FTK's gone. I'm sure.
Okay, all right, but
the Draco Slayer cards did just come out though with Cashier, the new ones.
Oh, the new ones.
Yeah,
no wonder, because they probably just knew that this would be very powerful.
Yeah, of course. It's needed for the deck. I feel like this is good for those players because I do see the deck on ladder a lot.
Are
but
they secret villaging?
No, they're not. Let me tell you, Zach. Master Duel is we have different meta. But I do strongly feel like if more TCG players played Master Duel, they would redefine the meta very quickly. Like, there's a reason why Joshua Schmidt dominates Master Duel, and that guy straight up defines the meta on that platform because he's one of the best players in Yu-Gi-Oh! From the card TCG, and he has the experience already from all the cards that have come out. And he goes in there with this mentality and how to change things, you know. So I do think that like TCG players would make a different impact with cards. So they're not doing stuff like that. The Draco Slayer deck is very fragile on Master Duel right now. It loses to stuff like evenly. There's a bunch of stuff that just makes it up negates and stuff. But
is
like
Baron on there?
But yeah, Baron's good.
Man,
it's just the thing is Max C is also Max C is around. So I feel like that deck for sure gets hit by Max C really hard because if you don't have a way to stop Max C, you can't really play the game, you know, and you just left with an open field. Because the pendulum requires so much setup.
Dweller pass.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Tier is the best deck in my opinion, but it's not the only deck you see on a best of 1 format.
Yeah, true.
So you can't making Dweller pass is not the good.
Those are the only cards that are at 2 or went to 2 from this list, whether from 1 to 2 or 3 to 2. Now you have cards that are at 1. I'm a little hurt right now because I see Branded Fusion was at 2 and went to 1. But I know Brandon's a little bit different of a beast on there, and definitely dominated the meta for, I think, almost a month and a half before like a couple changes happened. And Tier finally came out.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the TCG. It was very short lived. It was a very short lived domination of Brandon.
I looked back into Master Duel. I'm like, I wanted to try Brandon out for a bit, but then I said no. I gave up.
Yeah, that was an interesting week. People hated that deck. It's funny. You haven't seen the list, have you? I already know the list, but is it your first time seeing the list?
Like taking an actual look at it.
Okay,
I glanced at it.
Okay, but don't scroll too far. Don't scroll too far.
Oh, I mean, I already know, but
okay.
I don't mind. Like, I already know, but I don't mind like kind of exploring it.
No, okay. So Branded Fusion, I think this is a little too rough for the Branded deck, but I mean, like you said with the Chimera stuff, there's plenty of ways to play the Branded deck without.
Stuff's already with this?
No. I'm just saying, like, there's currently a bunch of stuff like Cartesia and like there's a bunch of stuff. I'm actually you can play the deck differently. They'll get Quem soon, I'm sure, and whatnot. And then Grass Looks Greener. Thank you so much, Master Duel team, for putting Grass is Greener to 1. I wanted it banned, but I'll take this.
Yeah, but you're gonna just see triple left arm offering and this. So
really, you think people are gonna play that left arm offering?
That's what they did before in the I mean, I don't know. You know what? Maybe they won't because, like you said, they're not TCG duelists. They are Master Duel duelists. However, I see myself wanting to already head that direction. That's my first thought. Just because might as well play 4 copies of it in your deck, especially when it's just your win button.
Yeah.
However,
I mean, I don't know if that card's banned on Master Duel.
It should be banned. I agree. That card's very good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm surprised Tier Elements and that card existed in the same time.
Dude, don't even get me started on playing against 60 card decks on ladder. And every time you do like a play and you feel like, oh, cool, I feel like I made a pretty good board against this 60 card deck, right? They're playing 60 freaking cards. The first thing they do is Grass is Greener. It happens so often. And then you're resolving a Chain Link 8. And it's just how am I going to win if you're activating 8 effects?
And here's my qualm. Here's my thing. It is not once per turn. So if they had multiple and you negated the first one, you would feel like poop.
Again, as a Floowandereeze player, I save my Apex for that card sometimes, and that's happened to me plenty of times. Yeah, it's happened to me plenty of times. And one of the worst feelings when you save your Apex Avion for that card, and then they have branded fusion anyways, because they're playing branded tier limit 60 card nonsense. It's just. So then I learned you save your Ash Blossom for that card, right? That makes total sense. And then you Ash Blossom that card, and they still branded fusion you. So it's great. So maybe that's why they put branded fusion on one. So
they had to check all these power spells, and I mean they checked them here, so checking them there makes sense. Kelbeck to 1 is a very good one. I'm assuming just because they're just trying to approach the element a little bit differently. Sprite Jet from 2 to 1. I think that's important to note. Like they do not want Sprite to kind of have a lot of searchability. I don't know how powerful the Sprite deck is as its own engine, but it's the most splashable engine. And I will say, as a splashable engine, 1 jet does not hurt. So this only hurts pure Sprite decks. This doesn't hurt the Sprite engine as a whole, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts a little bit consistency, like less chances to open up that extra level 2. The Swap Frog to 1. That is very impactful because...
Is Ronin Totem the card?
No. But that's not even... Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Totally Awesome. Yeah, Ronin Totem's a card. So because Ronin Totem's a card, putting a Swap Frog on board automatically, it gives you a lot more accessibility into Sprint into... and Sprite Elf is still on the list. Like, it's still on Master Duel. So... It's kind of silly.
Wow, that is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, by the way, so I think Sprite is going to be the best deck now. After this ban list, Sprite is the best deck.
I remember for sure Sprite Elf still existing. I just
didn't think it would last that long, right? Yeah. The card is too good.
Wasn't there a ban list after Worlds, but before this one?
No. This is the first one after
Worlds? Okay, all right. Well... Was that the last one that went to 1 with Swamp Frog? Yeah. Yep. And my only thing is about Swamp Frog is that, like, if there's any other decks that, like, played with Swamp Frog, it's, like, too bad. That card's way too good. Especially Road Totem existing. Like, that card can be up there with Road Totem on. The banned ones, I do want to just skim over very quickly. However, I'm happy to say Block Dragon's banned and Rongo's banned. Those are just banned cards here. And I'm very glad they're banned in the Master Duel TCG because I can only imagine how much havoc they were wreaking.
Who's Rongo?
Rongo is the one that if you have 4 materials under it, your opponent can't summon.
Oh, yeah, the thing. Yeah, no, there's this like gimmicky lock that they would do. I'm sure they did it in the TCG also, but it was again, you see it on ladder.
Phantom Knights, right?
What?
Were they doing Phantom Knight cards?
I don't remember. I just know that they do this thing where like, oh, it's effects negated, so because it's effects negated, it doesn't detach, so you always have the 4 materials, so your opponent can never summon.
Oh,
it's a really weird mechanic. I need to look it up, but it's like it's like a pseudo FTK. You do it first turn, you leave it with the 4 materials, and it has its effect permanently negated because of the way it was brought out. So because of that, it never detaches its materials.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, that's ridiculous. Now Block Dragon banned, good. That card's ridiculous. Merly banned. Kind of nice.
Amazing.
No sprint access.
Less elf access. Like I mentioned, they stopped elf, so that's what I'm saying. I do think Sprite is amazing.
I like this.
And the Yugioh band? Yes.
So a Yugioh over Kelbeck, interesting, I'm going to say.
I like it because I feel like it makes an argument to say that Tier's not completely dead. You know what I mean? Like, Kelbeck is a great card. It's a Saki 1-of now, but it's still a great card in the deck, you know? And
now, was it just because Yugioh was, like, more splashed in other decks, not just Tier?
No, if anything, Kelbeck was way more splashed. I'm thinking they did this to kind of get people to be like, hey, we're not trying to completely get rid of Tier Limit, because they still have Katalos at 1. So they're just trying to, like, hey, we'll give you access to an extra mill engine in the meantime.
Bishi Balkan is a card that gets tokens all over the board. And again, when you just told me what's his name was still out, Tomahawk, that card probably will have to go soon. And another card I want to go soon in the TCG is Droll and Lockbird.
Yeah, so I guess to wrap this up, there is like a combo with that synchro that summons all the tokens. The deck sucks though, so I don't know why they banned that. But in terms of TCG ban lists, we might get one soon, like we were talking about earlier. And you say you don't like Droll and Lockbird. Maybe if we ask nice enough on this podcast, they'll ban Droll and Lockbird.
Well, I don't know who is listening to this podcast as of right now, but Droll and Lockbird is a card that needs to go along with Dimension Shifter. And I'm pretty sure that Master Duel people would want Max C gone. So with all these cards that we're mentioning, what cards does anyone else want to see banned? What cards do you know other people want banned?
D barrier is one for sure that people
Eradicator, of course, which
talked
we
about.
talked
Eradicator.
about. Yeah,
Yep.
but
I personally would love to see either Splash Mage banned or what's his name? Update Jammer, is that the one that's Link 3?
no, you want the one that
Decode Talker?
You mean
Transcode Talker, yeah. I
I
am
Reborn Cybers.
Was that? Yeah.
Reborn
Well,
Cyberplane?
I think Splash Mage is even better than Transcode Talker because Splash Mage is like a generic Link 2 that reborns any Cybers the same way. And I think it's like unfair that Splash Mage gives Link decks an auto bridge to the Link 3, which basically gives them an auto bridge to the Link 4. You know what I mean? So I do think it is Splash Mage that is the issue. So
Splashable cards, and yeah, gotta admit the links have not been shining. It's been fusions, it's been synchros. So for you to say D barrier is kind of crazy. I think there's a check. With D barrier. I don't think it's that powerful. There's ways to build decks where it can't be that severely hit, and also it's a card that you have to draw.
I personally like that a lot of decks right now are very flexible. Like if I get deburied in Kashtira, I can still I have an opportunity to make Baron in some cases, or I can just summon Fenrir, Unicorn, and pass. If I get deburied in Sprite, well, you got to pick. You're gonna say Xyz, and then I can probably go Link monsters into Melfi plays or whatever. Oh, I can't Xyz. But if I hard draw the cards, maybe I can still do the Melfi play.
You could do the synchro possibly if you get that far, but the links could be enough if you're playing like IP or Pit Night Eagle.
Exactly. So
we got to wrap it up out here. We got like less than a minute left before the camera goes off. So anything you want to plug up?
Leave some comments on what you think should be banned, what you thought of today, and what you think we should cover next time.
Yeah, guys. I mean, we're just getting started here. We're gonna grow and grow together. I'm looking forward to doing the next one. Later, Kevin.
This is Zach. Kevin, you're watching YGOMemes, aka Your Games Online podcast, and we will see you next time.
Peace.